What illegal things do you do on a regular basis? Story 1. When I was younger, me and my sister were driving down the road when we saw a roadkill raccoon. We decided to pull over to see if it was still alive. It wasn't, but it had a baby raccoon trying to cuddle up to it. We felt bad and took him in. He lived with us for about 14 years until he died. Apparently, it's illegal to own a raccoon without a license, but raccoons only live for around 3 years in the wild, so I like to think we gave him a pretty good life for an orphan raccoon, regardless of it being illegal. We live in a small town and regularly took him on walks to the park and stuff. He loved people and sat on my shoulder while I was on a 4th of July parade float. R.I.P. Bandit. Story 2. When I was in college, parking was $500 per semester, which I couldn't afford. I simply went to class each day until I got a parking ticket. I went online, paid the $50 fine, but kept the ticket. Every time I would park on campus, I would toss the ticket out onto my windshield so that the parking police thought I was already ticketed. This worked for 2 years, $1,000 worth of parking for $100. And then I came out of class one day to find 2 tickets and a note that said, "Nice try." Story 3. It is almost impossible to not violate multiple laws while driving. I was a police officer in the early 90s, and when I was in the academy, we had to learn all the traffic laws. One of the instructors said, "You really need to learn traffic laws because there are so many of them that you can always articulate probable cause to stop someone while they're driving." For instance, in Texas, it's illegal to not stop before crossing a sidewalk when leaving a parking lot. I never knew that, and it blew me away. So when you leave the gas station parking lot, if you don't come to stop before you cross the sidewalk, boom, probable cause for a stop. You can get stopped even if you come to a complete stop at a stop sign or traffic light, but don't stop at the designated point, the stop line if present, crosswalk, or before your car crosses the stop sign. So if your car noses past the stop sign but you completely stop, boom, probable cause for a stop. You have to signal 100 feet before you change lanes. So if you hit your blinker and immediately change lanes, boom, probable cause to stop. There's all sorts of insane stuff that literally no one except police officers really remember. Now, police don't generally stop folks for that kind of stuff, unless they're looking for probable cause, but the laws are there. I knew an officer who stopped someone because he said that their wipers were not keeping their windshield clear. A motor vehicle should be equipped with a device that is operated or controlled by the operator of the vehicle and that cleans moisture from the windshield. Boom. Probable cause for a stop. Now multiply that insane legal detail at the city, county, state, and federal level, and it is literally impossible to not violate some laws every day. Story 4. As a teenager, my friends and I would trespass through a guy's property so that we could sit near the river and just hang out. We did it 2 or 3 times a week. I'm almost certain the old man that owned the land knew about it and just didn't care, but we never technically got permission to be there. There was a period of time when I first moved out where I would technically loiter in front of my workplace for a little bit. I was carpooling with someone that worked in a nearby business. If I got out earlier than her, I would wait around for that hour in the car. Lastly, the grocery store I shop at sells the best donuts I've ever consumed. These Fruity Pebble ones they have are almost certainly the least healthy thing I eat these days, but they taste like heaven. Unfortunately, the grocery store doesn't seem to have the donuts in the system at the self-checkout, so I just say I'm purchasing a cookie instead for a drastically lower price. Story 5. At least in my state, maybe the US at large, it's illegal to buy contacts, even online, without a valid, up-to-date prescription. My vision insurance covers my annual eye exam for glasses, but not for contacts. Even though they literally get both prescriptions and all measurements from doing the one exam, the optometrist always even tells me that if I change my mind and want the contact one after all, I can call them within 90 days and pay, and they'll send it to me. I wear my current contacts to the exam, and they check the fit and how my eyes are doing in them. But the cost for them to give me my contact prescription, just to print out and hand me the information they already have from doing the exam either way, is an additional $112. I am diligent about my eye health, so I go get my annual eye exam promptly every year as soon as I get the notification that I'm due. But unless my prescription has changed, it's remained stable for the past 4 years in a row. I just edit the dates on my previous contactless prescription that was valid to be current, change 1 digit in the optometrist's office phone number to be wrong. So the online retailer would have to make some small extra effort to verify it that they absolutely won't ever bother to do, and have never had an issue ordering contacts online. I'm doing all the steps I'm supposed to wear contacts safely. I just refuse to pay an extra $100 every year for literally no reason whatsoever. My current vision insurance even covers the cost of ordering my actual contact lenses, which is rare. On a lot of vision plans I've had in the past, contacts are considered cosmetic and not covered. So it's utterly ridiculous that the exam for them is not. Story 6. I used to subscribe to like 4 different streaming services with my roommates. Eventually I learned about Radar and other similar RR softwares. My mates and I pooled in money, and now we have a Synology Home NAS server with 50 plus terabyte storage. We are slowly buying hard drives with the money that would have been set aside for services. And almost all of the movies we watch are like 100 times better looking than any streaming service would have provided. It only started as a way for us to watch movies that we wanted to, but streaming services have dropped, but now we have a database for the house, backups for albums, Pi-hole, and many other home entertainment and lighting systems being run through it. Best of all, we own that shit and can move it whenever we want. And aside from the initial setup and the move to a server setup, we never touch that shit. It updates itself, finds subtitles by itself, and even catalogs by itself, and has cute information packets like Prime Video shows, and we also saw so many featurettes for classic movies. Story 7, eating food at Whole Foods, then returning it for 3 years, telling customer service I didn't like it and got a full refund. Wearing high-end clothes, then returning within the return window. Overdraft my checking account to put that into a retirement account and negotiate with the bank to not close my account because it was accidental. Not driving without insurance for a year because there were no plate readers where I live. Booking first-class tickets to get access to the lounge with fully refunded tickets, then canceled, and got economy. Story 8. Around here, most people speed. Because most people speed. The safest speed to go is the speed of traffic. Maintain a flow that doesn't make an obstruction to other drivers, so people start weaving in and out of lanes around you. Which means that you end up speeding, because everyone's doing at least 70 and usually 80 in the left lane. When I drive to work, though, it's 6 a.m., and that's when HOV lane rules start 6 to 9. There's literally nobody in the HOV lane ever, because the city's so spread out that nobody can carpool. So the HOV lane rule usually just ends up pressing all the other traffic together, making it a shitty commute for anyone who isn't going to violate the HOV lane rules. It's different at 8:30 when recklessly fast is trying to 55 in a 65 zone. But that's not when I'm out on the road. So I usually just stick to 70 to 75 and stay in the HOV lane. Story 9. Used to pump my own gas in Oregon before the law was passed that it was deemed legal after some odd number of years. The gas station I did it at knew me because I was a regular, and the day after the law passed, one of the attendants in the doghouse yelled, "Hey, you're not a fugitive anymore." So legal. Now I guess. But I started laughing hard when he pointed it out, because I didn't even know we had such a law. Only one other state has, I think. Story 10, shoplift. The greed that is running apparent across all of these major retailers has broken past the barriers of secrecy and now are right in the sunshine for everyone to see. Besides, most of us instinctively knowing that retailers have price gouged, you now have retailers getting caught and now publicly admitting that they have drastically increased the prices of their products beyond the rate of inflation. Anybody who goes to the grocery store can see that plainly. All it takes is a simple bit of math. Almost every time I go to the grocery store now, something small goes in my pocket because they are raping the shit out of us. Don't come back at me with something like my shoplifting is the reason prices have gone up. Anybody paying attention has seen that they all took advantage of COVID. My groceries went from $300 to $600 almost overnight. We paid $14 for a bag of grapes the other day. What the actual hell?